Tom, FA Cup progression, it's always one of those checkpoints, isn't it? We've now crossed that off at the first hurdle, so we must be delighted.
I am absolutely delighted. The aim of the day was to be in the hat on Monday. Now, whether that's through a draw and a replay at our place or getting through, we managed to get over the line. The pleasing thing for me is the area that we all know we've had an issue with, certainly in the last month or so. I thought them lads stood up to a real bombardment. I thought Dorking, as they would, came out the traps brilliantly and really put it on us. But they didn't make our goalie make saves, to be fair. Where defenders put themselves in front of the ball. People took wallops on the head, spilled blood literally for us, and they deserve a bit of credit because, listen, I keep saying this, my teams will score goals. It's difficult when I've put my faith in some young lads on loan who I believed when they came to the club they would grow with us by being in and out of the side, but I had other players around them to do that. I haven't got that, and they're learning on the job, and it's difficult, and I understand the fans are frustrated with that, but that's the cards we're dealt with, and we've got to work with them, and we've got to work through this tough time in the way we're conceding. But I still believe we've just played one of the best teams in the National South. They'll be very close to getting back in our division next season. And we've scored 3 goals past them. Not many teams will do that, but my teams will score goals.
Well, a tough one for those young defenders out there today. They stood up well. Obviously, Ben stood up in more ways than one. I hope. Is he all right?
Yeah,
I mean, he
got a special mention from me. I don't do that very often in there. Look, he's literally spilled blood in the second minute, and he's had a gash on his head. I don't know how many stitches he's had, but he's in there with a doc. He's had to be treated about 5 or 6 times. I think he's used about 4 shirts, but he didn't want to come off. And that's something. He's our player. He has been through development football. He took an unbelievable whack to his face in Altrincham, first game of the season, missed 4 weeks with a busted nose, a busted eye socket and partial indentation to his cheekbone. So the lad has shown some real guts, and I think it's taken him a little while to get his confidence back, to put his head where it is, but that's something for us to build on. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to concede 2 goals and have to score 3, but I know there's a will and there's an endeavour from them young lads to put their bodies in front of the ball for our football club, and that's something I take great pride in.
We had Ryan Hill in the post-match scenes there, which I'm sure will go out on our socials in a bit, saying there was a lot of heart shown out there today. Is that true?
I think so, because like I said, listen, this is never an easy place to come. The surface, the crowd, excuse me, the occasion for them. They build it as the biggest FA Cup game they've had, because it'll be the first time they would have been into the first round. Well, I'm absolutely delighted to keep our record going here, not getting beat off a team from below us in the FA Cup and getting through in all 3 seasons I've been at the club. So let's not take it away. We deserve a pat on the back for coming here. I don't know any other result today, don't know any, but I'll tell you now, there'll be teams in our division getting beaten by teams in lower divisions, and we haven't done that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the questions before games like this are normally, is a free hit because it's a different competition. That's not the case, really, is it?
Listen, you all want a home game against a team not in your division. That's what you want. We got not a home game, so that's a downer, but this team's not in our division, so that's a plus. Did we gain any confidence from playing here in pre-season? Probably not, but at least we knew the surface, at least we knew Mark's set up, and we know their players. They're really experienced, they're good players, by the way. They've all played our level and this level for a long time. And like I said, they're very well coached. Mark knows what he's doing, as much as I know people will laugh sometimes when he's on cameras and things like that, but he knows what he's talking about, and I've got a lot of respect for him, to be honest. And I'll be totally honest, they'll go away saying they should have won the game, and they maybe should have, but they didn't put the ball in the goal more than we did.
Yeah, and the goals we scored today were great goals, weren't they? Obviously a bit of Josh Barrett magic and a brilliant move as well for the others.
Well, if I've got a disappointment in the game, we didn't play enough of the way we play. But sometimes you've got to give the credit to the opposition. It was their day in their heads. They were going to be front-footed, they were going to press, they were going to pepper us in the box with balls, and they did. But the couple of patterns of play that we managed, and the third goal we scored was just off the training ground. So from my point, and so was the second one. Now the first one is something where a lot of managers have let Josh Barrett go for the way he contributed or didn't contribute in the first, whatever it was, 25 minutes, 30 minutes of the game. But somebody like me will accept that because he can do what he did for the next 10 minutes. He did that in pre-season, and I know Mark would have had an absolute beeline to try and stop him from getting into them situations. But Josh being Josh has got to understand we haven't got reinforcements behind him like I'd want at this time, and he has to play a bit more when we haven't got the ball. That's something that's difficult for him. I understand that though, but I always smile when I do that because there's coaching staff in there, and I say, listen, what about going with this one or giving him an opportunity? He says, you can't leave Barrett out. And I said, well, we can leave him out because he could do that from the bench. But Josh, I've known him a long time, and I think he knows me. We know each other's game.
Yeah.
You know, we know what's expected. So it didn't surprise me that he did it. Delighted me, the first one, and the second one, it's on a plate for Kwame, who does that better than anybody in our division. So let's hope he's not injured. Looks like Theo's broke down again, which is, as much as some people will be happy probably, it's not a good thing for us. Makes us a weaker squad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm disappointed with them two things.
Yeah.
Hopefully Ben will just have another black eye.
And
life of the centre half.
The third goal, just straight after half time, was
Yeah.
that credit to your team talk?
Well, I don't know. if kicking teapots and shouting and swearing at them is a good team talk, no, I'm joking. We just said, look, we saw their best in the first half, and we managed to come in 2-1 up. Should have been 2-0. We came in 2-1 up, and we said if we get a little bit of our game on them and we score another goal, it'll be very difficult for them to score 3. And it was great to happen as quickly as it did, but typical pattern of play. Good goal.
Just quickly at the end, is there anyone we're looking out for in the draw on Monday?
Like I said, I'd prefer home draw against somebody not in our division. That would be it. But I'll be honest with you, the big thing, everybody should know this. It was billed for them as the big game because it can lead to some people who are watching us as all of them 850 people were 2 years ago knows what can happen in the FA Cup. We came here the week before we played Swindon and got turfed 2-1. Then we went to Swindon and won 7-4. Who knows what happens in the FA Cup? Magic.